I'm the reason Robin Hood froze in 21. I turn red days green just to flex for fun. Hold account on calls, I don't hedge, I run. Diamond hands so cracked they could cut your thumb. Sip for a local while I chart this mess. Margin maxed out, still doubling the bet. Your TA's cute, but I'm reckless finesse. I treat the stock exchange like a Vegas roulette. YOLO long, double down, feed the flame. Portfolio's a slot machine. I rig the game, every dip's a shot, every rip champagne. I'm the bull in the pit with the broke man's brain. Coke on the keyboard, Chick-fil-A on the screen. Scalping tendies off the market machine. Broker blowing on my phone like settle the fee. But my calls print memes and the memes print green. I'm the IV spike that your grandma won't touch. The lotto ticket strike that pays too much. Let her burn cooking, I don't mind the crunch. Expiration Friday, I'm the Friday lunch. YOLO long, double down, feed the flame. Portfolio's a slot machine. I rig the game, every dip's a shot, every rip champagne. I'm the bull in the pit with the broke man's brain. Broke man's brain. Broke man's brain. Tesla profit, degen slot junkie. I'm the liquidity leak, the drip too funky. Blow my gains on strippers, lose it back on Monday. But I'll reload the account like a clown on payday. Risk management's a joke, I don't tell. I'd rather 10x up than break even well. I'm the ape in the suit, I'm the market's hell. Short squeeze symphony, ring the bell. YOLO long, double down, feed the flame. Portfolio's a slot machine. I rig the game, every dip's a shot, every rip champagne. I'm the bull in the pit with the broke man's brain. Broke man's brain. Broke man's
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where, yes, we're going to have some fun live day trading today, talking about some swing trading, getting into what's going on with the stock market. I guess today, really the futures market, because gold and silver are ripping like no other due to some crazy Trump Powell news. Of course, we're going to be getting into that. Maybe some stories related to the economy, a reminder that this week is OPEX week. It's the start of earnings season. Folks, we have so much to chit chat about. We have so much to get into today, so I truly appreciate you joining me right now at the crack of dawn on a beautiful Monday, January the 12th, I want to say. 12th, carry the 6, divide by 4, add pi r squared. Yeah, I think it's the 12th. I'm like 30% sure it's the 12th. So happy the 12th. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. Don't really care that much about that. I care a lot more about being right, ideally, on some of these trades today. So here's my goal, prepping you guys up not only for today, but since it is a beautiful Monday, kind of what to prepare for this entire week. So buckle up. We have a lot to chit chat about on top of all that crazy news. Man, we have so much to get into. So thank you. Who's already in chat this morning? Trex is here, of course. Will Lafano is here. Dumb Money is here. The Amazing Adventure Joe is here. WMD, Uno Momento, Profit, Turf Dog, Standing Red, Just Busting Your Seed. Jesus, dude, what are the names over here? All right, I probably shouldn't read all those names or I'm going to get banned. So let me just move on and do what I need to in this from my job, before you guys ban me. What is this? Meta names Trump advisor, Powell as president, vice chair. Oh, that makes sense. Anyway, all right. Major headline of the day, Dow futures fall 300 points as Trump's DOJ opens criminal investigation into Fed Chair Powell. This was breaking news as of yesterday. And as you can imagine, it kind of sent the market in a tizzy. So the overall market, the S&P 500 currently down 0.5%, the Nasdaq down 0.7%, the Russell taking a hit of 0.3%. Bitcoin did go up and come down. I'm surprised it's actually not holding. But what is holding a pump because of all of this unease is gold. Dingity ding, ding, ding. A massive congrats to all of the gold bugs in the audience. We hit another new all-time high. I feel like I've been saying that a lot over the past, 1 to 2 quarters, but gold just keeps going up. So another record high, obviously inversely correlated to, I guess, the calm nature of the equities market. What does this represent? It represents basically a flow of capital outside of the equity markets because people are nervous about it and into a store of value, such as gold. And it's not just gold, it's also silver. Silver also, massive congrats there. Dingity ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, a new all-time high. So that's why commodities, specifically these soft metals, are spiking right now. It's all because we don't really understand fully what's happening here. Fed served with DOJ subpoenas. Powell vows to stand firm. For years, Powell avoided fighting Trump. That's over. After receiving grand jury subpoenas Friday, Powell spent the weekend deciding how to respond. By Sunday, he had his answer. So I'm going to play this for everyone because this is historic. This is hyper impactful. This is a very, very big deal. I don't know if it's actually getting close to the attention that it should be getting, but this is a crazy, crazy, crazy move, really from Trump and Trump's administration and the DOJ. And to be clear, before we get into this, I do want it said. Now, whether this is true or not, President Trump did say he had no clue that the DOJ was looking into Powell. Now, do I believe that? No, not really, but just in my effort to give you kind of all sides of the story, all information that I've consumed related to it, I do want it on the record that Trump has put it on the record that he didn't know the DOJ was looking into the Fed. If you've been tracking this particular story of really just Trump not liking what Powell is doing, it doesn't really pass the litmus test of logic. It doesn't really make the most sense. But once again, let's just get everything out there based on the information that we have. But anyway, he was served on Friday. And then right here, January 11th, last night, we got this update from Powell. And once again, this is not AI. This is not comedy. This is not a bit. This is not a skit. This is very, very real.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned, in part, a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation. I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike. In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment. Public service sometimes requires standing firm in the face of threats. I will continue to do the job the Senate confirmed me to do, with integrity and a commitment to serving the American people. Thank you.
So, as you can imagine, right away, the markets had whoa, what are you doing, Piper? You want to go back down? Okay, whatever. Live your life, dude. Live your life. I'm not the boss. As you can imagine, this sent the market, the economy, political pundits, mainstream media, everyone up in a tizzy because this truly is an unprecedented move. And I was thinking a lot about it. Obviously, when you dive into it, depending on the source that you're coming from, you can get a lot of thoughts and opinions. On one side, all of the hardcore Trump supporters, I would imagine some of you guys in chat right now, you'd say, yeah, good, he deserves it, which is kind of interesting because remember, you're just applying the fact that you disagree with him on the Fed fund rate rather than doing something legal or illegal, which I think is a weird jump. But once again, on the other side, if he did it, if this investigation finds something sketchy is going on with the building, well, okay, you should be in trouble. So I guess my biggest thing here is remember, in America, you are innocent until found guilty. That's how this works. So right now, I think the idea of assuming illicit action is incorrect. It's wrong. This should be true regardless of what political side someone is on, this or that. We live in a world where evidence is required, and obviously everyone, like, you get to meet your day with justice. That's how this thing works. I know obviously on the other side, you have one side highly supporting it, saying, yeah, take him down, and it seems to be connected to the fact of just not liking the Fed fund rate. The other side is saying this is a banana republic, and how could this ever happen? This is sketchy stuff. And I guess I'm at the position of I'm not the lawyer. I'm not the one with the evidence. All I can say is to be able to try to connect this to the idea of what's going on with the Fed fund rate seems completely silly because that has nothing to do with this at all. In fact, I could show you exactly what it has to do with. And from there, like, that's what the court system is for. That's what the legal system is for. The U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C. has reopened has just opened, not reopened, a criminal investigation into Federal Reserve Chair Powell. The investigation is centered around whether Powell lied to Congress about the scope of the expansive Fed renovations. Resign now, Powell, FAFO. I mean, this idea of, no, just because you're accused of something, I don't agree with this part. Resign now. Once again, you are innocent until proven guilty. It works like this. Two sides come up, you have your evidence. One way or the other. Whoever has the evidence and presents their case, well, okay, we get down to the truth, and then that's the end of it. I think it should honestly be that simple, but a lot of people, instead of waiting for, actual evidence and due process, we live in this world where people assume guilt or innocence exclusively based on if they like them or not, which just feels so incredibly silly. That's just not how our world should be operating. But anyway, for those of you who are want more of the specific information about what's going on with these building renovations, here you go.
Billion went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building is what that is. That's a third building,
Well,
including
no,
the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use, but no, we don't. We expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not in.
There you have it. It's kind of, I guess, a decent example of the chaos that this is in and just confusion about the building and $400 million and what's a building amongst friends. And then was he being completely truthful in front of Congress? We're going to find out. The timing of it does seem a little bit sketchy at a certain point. I don't even necessarily know why it matters. If anything, this is kind of impacting us, the people involved in the market, because clearly this took a hit on the market unless you happen to be long gold and silver. Then you're going to very much like it. But I do want to remind you, Jerome Powell is out in May. It is halfway through January, February, March, April. You have basically 3.5 months. The dude's done in May, and as of right now, Kevin Warsh is set to step in, who's basically just going to be a Trump puppet. And maybe you like that, maybe you dislike that. I'm just saying the dude's done. So right now, I suppose at a certain point, it becomes maybe a certain argument of whether he did it or didn't do it. I just want to clarify that the difference is about $400 million. Okay, that's a lot of money. Obviously, you can't that's a lot of money. But the DOJ, to my understanding, has a finite amount of resources. It's not some sort of infinite government entity that just has infinite amounts of money and people and connections. No, there's a finite amount of resources. So when I hear about $400 million in the differential between those buildings, or let's just take the number in total, they said about $3 billion. We just heard about $10 billion in fraud in one city, in just one state, I should say, Minneapolis, specifically one city, one urban area. We're just starting to say, oh, is other stuff happening in New York? Is other stuff happening in Maine? Is other stuff happening in California? So when I look at the DOJ and doing this, I just wonder, is it the most efficient use and overall utilization of what the DOJ is doing? Literally, we had something that 3x'd it, and that was just one state. What about all the other major urban areas in the United States that are probably, I would assume, at a similar, if not greater level of fraud? So in terms of, I suppose, utilization of resource versus where we're trying to find fraud, it just doesn't necessarily seem like this is the most efficient way to do it. And who knows? Maybe we look into this and it's a nothing burger and it's a complete waste of resources. Maybe we look into it and the rabbit hole goes deeper than we could possibly assume. Maybe that also happens. Whatever. I can't tell you the future. But just based on the numbers that are being thrown around right now versus the Medicare, Medicaid fraud that we're recently hearing about, or just other general economic fraud issues, it seems like those numbers are in the many, many billions. And then this one is not. Some can chew gum and walk at the same time, Matt. No, they can't. You're going to be assigned to one of these major cases and you're going to be working on that. They're not going to be chasing down these gigantic cases and all of a sudden work on other ones. That's just not how it works. You have everyone has a finite of time in the day, a finite of personnel. Of course, it's going to be capped somewhere. There's an evident ceiling. So you would think that the priority list would say, let's start where we think the biggest fraud is, take care of that, and work our way down the list. That feels like a very logical way to do it, but I guess we'll see how it plays out. There's a lot of you think that there's multitasking. Regardless, there's still a finite of personnel. Okay, if you want to multitask on the biggest fraud issues. Why would we target in this list? If this was the biggest fraud, I'd be maybe we should be putting all of our effort into that. But even if you're multitasking, you would multitask among the biggest fraud. Doesn't that make a little bit more sense there? Regardless, because of this unease, as I showed you, gold ripping to an all-time high, silver ripping to an all-time high. Gold smashes new record of 4,600 as Powell probe and global flashpoints ignite safe haven rush. So literally, this is causing a maybe reversible, maybe irreversible. I have a feeling that it's reversible. Exodus of the equity market into a safe haven, and that's why we see gold and silver up quite a bit. Bitcoin did catch a pop, didn't really hold it, which I found a bit surprising. The longer this goes, every time we're getting more and more examples of Bitcoin becoming it's always pitched as a safe haven, as a hedge against inflation. But whenever we see spikes of inflation, whenever we see these stories that represent unease in one way or another, we don't really see Bitcoin holding it, which maybe this is just a short-term thing. Maybe a couple months, couple quarters, couple years from now, maybe it does behave that way. But in terms of pitching Bitcoin as digital gold, and it's the same thing basically as a safe haven, doesn't really seemingly act that way, at least in the short term. Gold and silver stormed to records as Fed hit with subpoenas. So obviously this is going to be a hot story of the week, and we already have a little bit of political backlash. Republican Senator Tillis vows to block Trump's Fed nominees following the Powell probe. But once again, I don't necessarily agree with this because, hey, we're allowed to ask questions in this country. And hey, you could defend yourself. And maybe it's a nothing burger. You are innocent until proven guilty. And then here hey, I'm just going to block your nominee because I don't like you're doing something else. It feels like we're connecting things that should be unconnected. Maybe the next nominee is amazing. This guy right here is basically saying that no matter what, you could present the best Fed chair of all time, like just the smartest. Like, let's do a hypothetical situation. The best one ever. Let's just like create him out of thin air, multiple PhDs, very moral, like just go down the list of creating the best Fed chair. Smart, knows what to do, knows how to react, good speaking, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, no, we're just going to say no because of something else that you did. I think in this world right now, especially because of how hyper politicized everything is attempting to get interconnected and interwoven where maybe it necessarily shouldn't be. So I'm expecting more and more of this to be kind of the rhetoric of this week, of next week. I don't even think we have a timeline from the DOJ on how long this might take, of how long it might not take. If I just had to throw out a random guess right now, I would say it's going to be somewhat in the news up until May. And then when Powell steps down, because that's the end of his term, I think it's just going to go away if I had to guess. So let's see how it goes. Matt for Fed chair? No way. I would never, ever, ever do that job. Anyway, specifically diving into this week, I do want to let you know today at 1 p.m. there is a 10-year note auction. Tomorrow we get a very important inflation update, CPI, the Consumer Price Index. It comes out an hour before the market opens. This is going to kind of be that first clean one we've really had ever since the government shutdown. So that's why I think it's a little bit more important than normal. Also going to be setting the tone for the Fed rate decision at the end of the month, where right now there's about a 96% chance that there's no rate cut whatsoever. Tomorrow we also get a 30-year bond auction. Wednesday we get the producer price index, so basically inflation reports back to back. We're also getting retail sales. Thursday we're getting Fed manufacturing and normal initial jobless claims. Now, what's not on this list that you should still be knowledgeable of, Wednesday is VIX expiration. So if you're trading vol contracts or if you're just paying attention to the overall market, just so you know, VIX contracts do expire on Wednesday. And then on Friday, the 16th, even though nothing is scheduled, it is OPEX. So it is just the monthly January OPEX. So expect a lot of rolling of positions, of calls and puts and expiration, and basically just more movement in the market. And dingity, ding, 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 it's also the start of earnings season. Kind of gets underway tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we hear from JP Morgan and Delta. That's going to be interesting. Delta itself is going to be setting the tone for the other airline players such as United, American, Southwest. So they all kind of behave the same. But what I think is more interesting is JP Morgan, because we recently found out that Trump really wants to lower the credit card rate down to 10%. So I'm interested in what all these large financial players have to say. And if we don't hear anything from JP Morgan, well, we probably will from Wells Fargo, Citi, Bank of America on Wednesday. Thursday, we have Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and BlackRock, and Friday, PNC. So a lot of financial players this week. And if you want to track the overall sector, XLF is the S&P 500 subsector that focuses on finance. And then we do have one interesting tech play this week, TSMC, just going to be kind of, I don't know, it's a barometer for what's going on in the world of the AI trade. So obviously I'm also paying attention to that. Trump inclined to keep Exxon out of Venezuela. With respect to other individual equities, we do have some news that you should be knowledgeable of. President says he didn't like comments from company CEO during a meeting on Friday at the White House. So maybe Exxon getting the boot, which means that Chevron is clearly the front runner to quote unquote take advantage of the situation in Venezuela. I should also point out that Trump posted a picture of the Wikipedia update that Trump is the acting president of Venezuela. Kind of an interesting true social update, if you will. Capital One drops 10%. Other banks hit after Trump calls for credit card rate cap. So we saw this last week, and now it's kind of permeating throughout the individual equities. So Capital One, ticker symbol COF. So all these plays, especially the ones that a lot of their revenue comes from their credit cards, right now with the uncertainty of the situation, probably taking a little bit of a hit. Financial service stocks, including Capital One, Citigroup, JP Morgan Chase, and Bank of America, slid in pre-market trading on Monday due to this 10% thing. So like I said, I want to know what those CEOs are going to say about it in their earnings this week and also next week. GOP lawmakers back stock trading crackdown. Proposal would prohibit members of Congress from making new purchases of individual stocks. As much as I agree with this, how many times have we covered stories over the past couple of years where there's like a bill and they're like, oh, we support it, and then it gets absolutely nowhere? Honestly, we're probably in the double-digit count of the amount of times that I've shared a story with you of, oh, there's some sort of bill going on in Congress to stop politicians from trading, and then we don't hear about it, and then a couple weeks, a couple months later, there's another one of like, yep, they're at it again. And to me, this is now getting to a point of it's just for show. Like, honestly, it has to be exclusively for show at this point because they're literally never making headway, and it makes sense because they're all in it. This isn't a left or a right thing. All of these people are completely abusing their position for their own financial gain, exclusively to line their own pockets, and we have the records of it. They're not even trying to hide it. We're seeing sitting members of very important committees trading stocks and futures related to that committee, and sometimes they're even day trading it. And you're telling me that they're going to sit there and vote for them to stop making money and abusing their own position? I think it's just going against their human nature. I think it's incredibly immoral. I don't support it at all. But at this point, I'm even getting tired of it because how many times have we covered this story? And guess where it gets? Absolutely nowhere. This has been going on for not years, but decades. And at this point, I think they're exclusively doing it for virtue signaling of, look at, I was the politician who made a bill to stop trading because I'm so cool, I'm so different, I'm so morally straight. But yeah, maybe I don't trade stocks, but don't look into the fact that I take millions of dollars from sketchy lobbying firms. Don't look into that. Why would we look into that? Like, it's just so... It's so greedy. It's so despicable. It's so disgusting. And at this point on this particular issue, I feel like for the years that I've been making content to talk to you guys about it, the amount of times that I've even seen it, it's just like, holy shit, like we're actually making no headway whatsoever. So maybe, I don't know, knock on wood, maybe this time around something's different, but I definitely wouldn't be holding my breath on it. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, mattkohrs.locals.com. It's pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. Every single Sunday, you're going to get a breakdown of the market, the earnings, the major macroeconomic events of the week, and the seasonality of each individual day, which brings me to today, Monday, January 12th. Over the past 27 years worth of information, the bulls have won this day 75% of the time, as in the bulls have a 25% edge. That is good. Profit factor 2.51. Every single dollar spent in the bullish direction has returned $2.51. And then obviously here's a look at the hypothetical equity curve you would have if you bought at open and sold at close on the S&P 500 futures market on this individual day. You can see over the past 10-ish years, it's clearly been bullish, especially in the past 5. So seasonality on the individual day, and I'm not saying this is the end all be all, but it does favor the bull camp, which maybe gives a little bit of backing to this concept of, will people be buying this dip? If you had asked me right now, and I know I'm the first person to tell you, hey, maybe we shouldn't be predicting, we should be reacting, but before the market opens, if I were to throw out a random prediction, and please don't trade off of it, I'd rather wait for the data to actually come out. I do think this dip's going to be bought, especially considering the fact that the CPI reports tomorrow, VIX expiration is Wednesday, OPEX is this Friday. I think there's too much positive gamma in the system that's going to keep this thing above 6,900. And then maybe next week is a completely different story. But for right now, I'm just not seeing too crazy movement to the downside really happen. Of course, if the Powell Trump story gets worse, it is totally possible. But for right now, based on the current information we have, I do want to say before market opens that I do believe this dip will be bought. And now that we're almost at market open, of course, I'm going to show you the options flow. Of course, we have the key levels. But before we get there, Shout out to Apex. Obviously, I'm still trading on all of my Apex accounts right here. You can get 80% off with that code Goonie. Here's all 20 of my accounts. 15 of them are large, as in they have about $35,000, $36,000, $37,000 worth of buffer. And then 5 are a bit smaller with about 4.4K worth of buffer. Very happy with them. And I'm just working on that slow grind higher and higher and higher. So if you want to basically trade with someone else's money yourself, check out Apex. Use that code Goonie. You will get 80% off. I also want to point out that someone in Florida just crushed it. These are the payouts on Apex. They are publicly available, but you can see on Friday, Ming right here highlighted 20 payouts of 32,000 and change. Ming just got $650,000 on Friday. This is all from Apex. 20 accounts, 32.4K. Wow. Imagine that. Did anyone else in here have a $650,000 payday on Friday? Because I feel like Ming is feeling pretty good about life. Pretty freaking good about life. Absolutely insane. And on that note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, SPY is popping. Qs are popping. There is no upside gap fill on SPX. There's no upside gap fill on NDX. We did not dip that much. Overall, the daily structure is higher highs, higher lows, strong momentum. Like I said, options flow is pretty decent. A lot of support at 6,900. If we break down below that, maybe we just talk about a reversion. But for right now, on the swing basis, it's very difficult to be bearish. I don't know how you would be bearish right now, especially if we haven't taken out any recent lows. If anything, we just hit an all-time high and the structure is still completely intact. Yes, this could change today, but based on the current information we have, I don't know how anyone could be bearish. With respect to intraday momentum, 5-minute is bullish, 10-minute is bullish, 30-minute is trying to go from bearish to bullish. Like I said, my base assumption is that the dip will be bought, and then the 4-hour is holding bullish. Looking at the Nasdaq, 5-minute bullish, 10-minute bullish, 30-minute similar to the Nasdaq, switching from bearish to bullish, and then the 4-hour saving itself as well, bullish. So if I look at the daily time frame, bulls are in control. If I look at the intraday time frame on the S&P 500 and on the Nasdaq, the bulls are currently in control. Let me reload this so we can get options flow. Granted, it's not the most helpful at this exact moment in time, just because we don't have that much data. We're only 2 minutes into the day, but coming out of the gate, the bulls are strong. Put selling and call buying. So it's a 2 for there on the S&P 500. And looking at the Mag 7, a little bit of a sell-off, but mainly just going flat. Of course, we're going to revert to this to see what's going on. Right now, I do have my swing positions that the Goonie Trading Discord is fully knowledgeable of. Other than that, I don't have on any day trades at this moment in time. And the final thing I should be letting you guys know about are my key levels of the day. So on the screen now, as I always do, I mark out the previous high, low, and close. On Friday, someone asked me, why do I mark out the previous high, low, and close? Well, it just seems with high statistical certainty that the market loves to react to the previous day or 2 previous days pivot levels, the high, the low, and the close. And you could also check out the most recent week's high, low, and close. People love to target those levels. It becomes a psychological phenomena. So once again, that is the green, the red, and the white. The white box is the transition zone from a 0 DTE market maker's perspective. It's considered to be bullish above, bearish below, choppy within. And then the final thing on your screen are these yellow horizontal lines, which are all these major levels of the day from an options perspective. Right now, I have up the gamma map, which, remember, this is just giving us an idea of the influence, especially of 0 DTE positions. So basically, we're tracking where the big money options players are at, and that's exactly what these levels are for. So feel free to use these. Feel free to completely forget about them. If you want to screenshot them, write them down, do whatever you want. I'm not your mom, but I'm just letting you know those are the levels I'm personally using today. From just a bull bear case perspective, yes, I'm looking for this support between 25 and 30 to hold for the bulls. If it does, I'm looking at 50, then 66, then somewhere between 75 and 85. That would be the bull case. The bear case is that this support region doesn't hold, or we get rejected at the first one, and we come to this zone between 917 and 925, which is the low from Friday. And then from there, maybe the next level at 910, and then 6,900 is a big technical, psychological, and just overall options level. So I'd be watching that. If that doesn't hold, 6,880 would be my first test. Whenever it comes to me and active day trading, Always, always, always. Yes, I have a bias. My bias in the medium term, my swing term is bullish. But that doesn't mean you can't have a red day in between, and vice versa. If your bias is bearish, that doesn't mean you can't have a green day. So yes, I want to look at the overall picture. I'll look at the monthly, the weekly, and the daily for my overall picture. But then when it comes to intraday trading, yeah, you have to consider different time frames. So even though I have that bias, the general bias, whenever it comes to intraday trading, you have to admit that pretty much on any given day, anything could happen for that session. So I always have the bull case. I always have the bear case. And then I try to just play it accordingly. I find that too many retail traders, they come up with one opinion, one thesis, and they're like, okay, I'm bullish or bearish. And then they have to play that way, not really appreciating that the data changes, the information changes. You get trades in real time. Mag 7 is getting hit out of the gate. The S&P 500 is popping out of the gate. Like, there is real-time information that you should be able to kind of just roll with the flow there and update your opinion accordingly. Maybe your initial opinion was 100% correct, and maybe it was 100% wrong, and that's kind of what you have to do. Speaking of that, I should have been marking out the overnight trading session high and low. And let me just fast forward that to the end of today. Okay, there we are. This is just another stat, but when you have an overnight trading session Sunday to obviously market open right here, looking at that low at 340 and looking at that high at 6 p.m., the high or the low being taken out it's in excess of 85-88%. So those, if you could get on the right side of the trend and know which one to be targeting, those are generally good areas to be paying attention to. Once again, the high or the low is taken out roughly 85-88% of the time. It happens a lot. Obviously, pretty much 8 out of 10 trading days, 9 out of 10 trading days, you can count on one of those extremes, and sometimes both, but at least one of the extremes getting taken out. So just, I don't know, little stats and facts for you guys to appreciate. SPY is trending to the upside. Mag 7 is trending to the upside. Like I said, I told you I thought the dip was going to be bought. This is the first real test of the day, 6,950. I want to see how people react to this. Remember, there is this idea, this red to green. The market on SPX on Friday closed at 6,966. So this is the red to green move, testing that, because right now, obviously, we're down on the day. We would be neutral right there. But like I said, I can't stress this enough that I do believe the dip's going to be bought. And I guess we'll see how other things end up playing out. Right now, VWAP on NQ, if you happen to be trading on your Apex account, we're currently trading at 865.64. We are 100 points above VWAP. VWAP's down at 760. So obviously, we've got quite the expansive move to the upside already. Russell, what's moving? What's interesting? Palantir is getting a nice pop. What else is moving today? NVIDIA. Walmart, I saw, is up a shitload. Or it was at least on Friday. Walmart making some moves, giving back a little bit on the intraday session, but the daily chart's pretty strong. Folks, help me out. What's moving? Palantir's moving, Avago's moving, AMD's moving, NVIDIA's moving, Google a little bit, Microsoft a little bit. So we're just seeing dip buyers come out, like out of the gate to start out this Monday. I'm seeing some dip buyers hit it, but will they hold? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but Oracle, someone said Oracle, we have dip buyers. What? No, not. It's actually red. It did pop a little bit, but it just gave it back. Right now, Palantir is looking the strongest, maybe followed by Broadcom. AMD is looking pretty strong too. So these ones probably worthwhile to be paying attention to. So definitely some opportunity. Definitely some opportunity. Let's throw up Bookmap. Let's see if we have any big. I thought there would be a lot of sellers at 25,900. I'm surprised this isn't deeply red right now. What time is it? It's 9:38. So we're almost at that 10-minute Orbo. We're almost at it. I really thought there would be. What time is it? It is. What's that high?
Order submitted. Order filled. Order submitted.
All right. We're throwing in a little scalp trade for the 10-minute Orbo just to see what happens here. I'm trading these on the smaller account, the ones that I'm just trying to like scalp up to get the buffer to be a bit bigger. I didn't do anything on the larger one. I'm just trying to see if I can tag this 25,900 level. I'm long around 87. And I'm seeing if I could just play this. I'm actually front running it a little bit here at 900. But once again, I'm trading that just on the 5 accounts that have less buffer. My goal with those accounts is to slowly but surely climb up and just get more and more buffer. So I just have more room to work with. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. But once again, Bookmap, pretty cool tool. You just get to see where the sitting buyers and sellers are. Taking a little bit of a hit right there. A little bit of a hit right there. Here's a look at Mag 7. Kind of got a little, it's been selling off in general. There was a little bit of an attempt to pop here to 936. Got smacked again. Quite a bit of call selling. Interesting. So no one's really touching puts on the Mag 7, the combination of Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. That's these blue lines. No one's really touching puts there. It's people selling calls. Now, of course, they could be selling calls to create a position, putting a ceiling above. But if I had to guess, that's probably selling to close, STC, instead of STO, sell to open, sell to close. They're probably selling to close if I had to guess, but once again, we're not going to fully know that until the market closes and we get the net change on all the open interest. But right there, yeah, we definitely are seeing some call selling on the Mag 7. So looking for that trend to buck a little.
Order filled. Order submitted.
Okay, SPY is strong. I'm seeing a little bit of call buying, not much. If anything, it's the opposite. This is put selling. So on the S&P 500, we have put selling. On the Mag 7, we have call selling. They're seemingly the opposite of each other. That's a bit strange. That's a bit strange. Oh, anyway, someone just asked, what is this? This is SpotGam. It's just data analytics. If you want it, you could get it 80% off. It's pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. We are the only trading community that they offer this deal to. So once again, 80% off. Just use that link pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. I strongly believe it is the best options analytic tool in the entire game. But hey, that's just one man's opinion. Just one man's opinion. SPY slowly but surely climbing to the upside. A little bit of a dip in the Qs there. That might just be a higher low. I kind of like this structure. I actually might use that as my risk. Little just pop, a slight pullback. The delta still getting beaten up from all that call selling, but we did see this pop in the SPY. Here are our key levels. We're seeing if we can get above and hold above 50. Like I said, if we can hold 50, see how it popped, re-kissed 50? Now my next target would be 66. Not only is that the red to green move, it's a key level, and it's also the 1 minute, just like EMA cloud kind of breakout here. So like I said, I'm looking for 66, technically 66.29. That is the closing value on the S&P 500. If you need a SPY equivalent, that would be 694.07. But it does appear, at least somewhat, as if the dips are being bought. At least somewhat. We'll find out. We'll find out. Calm, cool, collected. Can you look at Baba? What's going on with Alibaba? Last time I checked it out, it was actually looking pretty decent. Yeah, starting to turn back around. Maybe a little bit of a trend switch. So in bullish, pulled back, lower highs, lower lows. So obviously bullish to bearish trend. This might be that nice reversal. Hey, if you take a stab at it, if you like Baba, obviously your risk is either the breakout, this cloud, or you could use the recent swing low. So it's just more of either are you willing to accept that risk, or can you size it accordingly where if you're wrong, you can take that hit? Like, of course, this is all about sizing and just like your risk tolerance. But I do like the potential trend switch. And in reality, I'm also seeing a potential trend switch on Bitcoin. Bitcoin got hit, try to pop up, pulled back. This might end up just being a higher low. If this starts to swing back up, especially if it starts to take out 93, 94, 95, this might be a trend reversal. And that's how markets work. Markets just ebb and flow. That is going to be common. Like, it's not the end of the world by any means. Oh, well, speaking of that, I need to pay attention here. I might need to pay attention here. We just got a little bit of a knock. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, mother. Oh, brother. Oh, mother. Oh, brother. Little bit of a knock, but are they just going to come right in here?
Order filled. Order submitted. Order canceled.
I'm just kind of changing my risk around. I want to minimize it. I wasn't so happy with the amount of risk I was taking at first. So I moved it up slightly, just canceling some orders, moving some other orders around. Wasn't so happy. And I'm now realizing I just did that on the wrong account. I accidentally, well, that's not good. All right, I need to pay a bit more attention here, folks. A bit more attention. I accidentally threw on a contract on the smaller accounts. I inverted it, which I believe I did on Wednesday of last week as well. Did I go long or short? I currently have long positions. I'm just changing where my risk levels are at because I've been here too many times where it pukes all the way back down to VWAP, which is 774, and I don't want to hold this position all the way down to 774 if that is the target. I've been here too many times where we pop in the morning, it confirms my bullish thesis, but then we have that dip to VWAP, we bounce off of that. So I'm just trying to be a bit realistic about it. I'd feel much more comfortable if we take out this last high right there. That's what I'm looking at. And really, I'm just wondering if it's retesting 50 and then that bounce. I'm watching.
Order filled.
Okay, once again, just moving some shit around a little bit, trying to take some of this risk off the table. I've been that player too many times who ends up having to ride it all the way back down to VWAP, and it gets painful. To say the least. I'd love to see the Qs pop above 625.25. Here's a look at Mag 7 potentially bottoming. Still, the calls are curling up a little bit here. They're going up a little bit. Interesting. But price isn't necessarily following through the way I would want it to. So even though there's a slight curl here that should theoretically favor the bulls, we're not seeing that in price quite yet. So let's just see. Let's give it some patience. You never know which way this shit's going to break. You never know. But as I've already been saying, I've been seeing it too many times in my trading career, especially recently, where we get the nice pop, and then you get sucked in just in case the trend keeps going, and especially if you're targeting the previous levels. But there's that quick little puke to VWAP, and it bounces off of VWAP. So I don't feel like riding it down that extra 80, 90, 100 points. So I'd rather ditch my position, not have to deal with it. And then if it bounces, I'll get back in at VWAP. And if it doesn't, cool. I wasn't in it to begin with. So I'm just trying to, as always, be as mindful about my risk as I can. I do think it's going to bounce though, looking at this Mag 7, and I do like the fact that the SPX is holding 50. We broke above 50, we retested it. We popped up, we retested it. It's a higher low. I'm looking for SPX to get above 57, and then I'm watching 60. And looking at the options flow, we had a little bit of a flow alert there, a little bit of profit taking, but now maybe we're basing and going. Come on, baby. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, mother. Oh, brother. Like I said, I'm concerned most about risk management. That's why I accidentally fucked up on these smaller accounts and traded a little bit more than I wanted to, which was why I'm trying to drop one at break even. I could always drop it earlier because I did already minimize the risk quite a bit, but it seems like it's trending towards my level. I'm still watching this 900. How close did we just get? 75. So some seller stepped in at 70.
Order filled.
All right, cool. So on that one, that was the risk management that I was talking about. I accidentally got into 2 contracts I meant to be trading on my other accounts. That's why the top 15 are different than the bottom 5. That's where I fucked up a little bit. Oh, whoa, this is really going in my favor. What the fuck is happening right now? You ever just get into a state of like paralysis and shock when it just explodes in your favor for no fucking reason? Because that's kind of where I'm at. All right, well, let's do the smart
Order
thing.
submitted.
So I put the stop in. So no matter what, this is not going to hurt me. We'll sell.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Boom. Folks, this is risk management for you. Stops at break even on the big accounts, stops at break even on the smaller accounts, locked in 900. The other one is also a locked in gain. Easy peasy lemon squeezies, folks. This is how we do it. So to clarify everything I did, I am trading them in 2 different tranches, and it was a little bit of a fuck up on my end. But once again, I want to clarify, I've locked in a profit on the big accounts, 900. I have a runner. They're up about 2K. Once again, the stop, it was, see how it got averaged in. The stop is at break even. Part of me, if I see, how do I want to do it? And then, yeah. So those are up 700. I might target 94, 95. What I really need to be the most mindful of right here, I'm worried about this rejection. I think it's going to either take a breather here or at 66. And that's what I need to be the most mindful of. All right, we're right at 900 again. I'm watching this because people might be reacting to that 1 minute 50 EMA, but I think there's going to be more reaction to the closing value from Friday. This red to green test, that's what I'm looking at. I'm going to set an alert just in case I'm looking at the NASDAQ when it happens, but I have an alert set for that test of 6966.29. All right, we need to get some better management. We're retesting 900, which is completely reasonable, completely expected. Here's a look at Bookmap. I see people trying to sell at 21, 22, 21.75 is the next little thing that I see. Let's see. And also to clarify, now this is kind of a freebie play for me. I already locked in gains on the day. Worst case situation is the other contract is break even. Boo-hoo, I made 15K. Or it actually breaks and keeps going in my favor and I'm making more. So I want to clarify that I'm now playing with the house's money. I've already made money on one of the contracts. The other one's the stops at break even. This is literally just me playing with the house's money. If it goes in my favor, great. If it doesn't, it's a bummer, but who cares? I made money. And that's especially for me right now. I did request on all my Apex accounts on Friday. So I'm in that awkward in between where my request is out there, but I haven't gotten the results one way or another yet. So I'm just kind of waiting to see how stuff either does or does not play out. Oh, these are the smaller accounts. They're at 55. Okay, we'll sell these. What was that? That was 24. I see people up here at 22. That just got a little bit hit. Do I think it's going to get smacked? It's now another time reevaluating that 900 level. There's a lot of action at 900, right below 900. How much of a pullback do I want to let this have? Hey, Matt, what's your indication to enter the trade? My trading system called Icarus. I made it myself. I don't use it's basically a combination of indicators, momentum, and then I still don't take every signal. I have a chart over here. This is why I keep looking over. It's just my Ninja, and it's once again my trading system called Icarus. But instead of being an automated system that enters and exits for me, I have it just paint a circle on my chart of where it would fire. And when it fires, I then decide if I want to take the trade or not. And that's just because I think sometimes maybe it gets a little bit too overeager, maybe fires a little bit too much, or maybe it fires like right before, I don't know, an important announcement or something. And I just don't want it to be in the trade for the announcement. So that, I guess, in the skinny is it. All right, I'm watching this battle at 900. It's very important to me. We are looking good, though. If we can take out 16, obviously I'll be moving my risk up to like 90. But I want to take out 16. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. 16. We should be able to do it. Come on, we could do it. Where are all the bulls at? Right here. I'm looking at this swing high, 16, and then the intraday high is 23. We take out those two levels. I'll feel super confident about this risk update. But even without feeling confident about it, you should still always be the most mindful of your risk, obviously. Duh. So let's see if we can crack 16 here. All right. Close enough for me. What is that? 90. We'll move that to 89. We'll move this one also to 89. And my job's pretty much done, folks. My stop is way in the money. I've locked in gains. I've guaranteed myself green on all accounts. What else is there to be done? What else is there to be done? Matt, Icarus shilling. Well, it would be shilling if I was selling it, but I don't sell it. So that's a tough one. But once again, the fund that I'm having right here, that's 30K, another 5-ish K. So I'm up about 33 to 34K. Obviously, right now it's unrealized, so it might get better, it might get worse. I don't know. All I can tell you is on the day, I've pretty much guaranteed myself at this point, like 17K, I believe would be the rough math. Is this going to knock me? Maybe 90 can hold. We're going to see. And if it doesn't, whatever, I'm pretty much done on the day now. Obviously, I still, if you're in the Discord, of course, I still have to do my options management. But in terms of futures trading, morning, how often do you read white papers or dive into the background info of companies before you decide to buy in? Almost zero. I would say I do it when I'm considering, it's very close to zero because I'm only doing that when I'm making moves in my long-term investment. I would actually say this is not just my opinion, but I think the math backs it up. Fundamentals of a company, the papers that you're referring to, has nothing to do with short-term movement. If you are a day trader, it literally has nothing to do with it. And it pretty much has nothing to do with it if you are a swing trader. That world of understanding the robustness of the company. For example, I feel comfortable investing into Microsoft because when I looked into their papers, I know that they have a balance sheet that is equivalent to Fort Knox. Okay, great. That's awesome. But that's in the world of investing. And I find that retail traders a lot of the time conflate the two. Am I about to get knocked? They conflate the world of investing and trading. And I understand that mistake. It happens just because like it's seemingly two sports play. Hang on. Do I think this is going to bounce or is it going to come for me? I understand why it happens, because it seems like trading is trading, investing is investing. It's just two things that happen in the world of the markets. Like, I understand why it happens, but they are as wildly different as they can possibly be. They truly, truly are. So when I'm looking at the fundamentals of a company, it only pertains to the world of long-term investing. It has nothing to do with swing trading, and it definitely has nothing to do with day trading. It just simply, those two are not correlated things by any means. By any means. I might have just got really, really lucky. We're about to find out, but that was hunting me for a second. Come on. If this can pop, am I going to get saved here? Oh, it's getting a little jagged at 900. Dude, am I going to be the luckiest or the unluckiest trader of the day? Oh, come on. Get away. Get away. Get away. Hold 900. Hold 900. Get away. Fuck. We got real close, but we didn't quite hit it. Is that part of the problem? A little bit of profit taking. They were undershooting it by a point instead of waiting for 66. These 0 DTE call. Yeah, I'm out. Okay, we did good. Good day. 250, 250, 250, 250, or 200 on the smaller accounts. I'll take it. 1.5K on the bigger accounts. And once again, they all started with 50K. When I say bigger and smaller, I'm referring to the amount of buffer in the accounts. Obviously, when you start the accounts with 50K and they go up to 87, that's more buffer than starting with 50K and going to 54. My goal on these smaller accounts is slowly and surely just grinding them up to about 60,000. So if I could just take little singles, base hits like this, I'm going to take it. You might be saying, but Matt, you could have gotten out at more. Yeah, I didn't know it was going to turn there. What if it just kept going? Knowing my luck, it's going to wick me out right here. Like before when I said, am I the luckiest or the most unlucky trader? Well, today it looks like I'm going to be one of the most unlucky traders, but I can't cry about it because I made money. So it's just like, whatever. Like, of course, we all wish we could have just perfectly optimized it and made more and more and more. But if you're playing that game, it's just going to be so mentally destructive. For me, hey, I had a trading plan. I stuck to it. Okay, good. I made money. I can move on with my life. Any day that you survive the gauntlet of trading, and especially when you follow your rules, that's a good day. So please don't judge yourself against theoretical perfection of, no, but this is the money I would have if I got in at the exact bottom and I sold at the exact top. You don't know where the bottom's going to be. You don't know where the top's going to be. Like, to judge yourself against that, what you should be judging yourself against is not really optimal profits or something like that. It's, did you follow your trading system? That's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's unlucky if you're making money. I was saying unlucky because it like wicked me out, but look at that. It popped, but it would have wicked me out again anyway. So like this one, hey, I had to stop for a reason. I locked in my gains, and now the pressure's off of me. I made money on these accounts. Cool. That's what my goal is. I made money. Maybe if there's an opportunity later in the day, I could take advantage of it again. But what's so nice is like, it's kind of like a weight off your shoulders, like especially when you're trading these SIMDA-funded firms like on Apex in an 8-day payout cycle. Like you have to trade for 8 days. They don't have to be consecutive, but it's cool. Okay, so I got a trading day in, and then they have another rule where 5 of the days has to at least be $50 worth of profit. Cool. Did that too. Awesome. So like, it's one of those things where when you start off the day, and maybe this is just me, maybe you guys aren't like this at all, but when I start off the day and there's nothing at all and I haven't done any trades, there is a little bit of a pressure of like, oh, okay, like I kind of need to be doing something right now. But for me, it's like, okay, I basically took 1 to 2 trades and I locked in some green. Could I have locked in more green? Yeah. But then I was taking the opportunity, the potential risk of what if it just kept going? I could have made even more. So like, I don't mind it whatsoever. And more than just like, oh, I stuck to my trading strategy, what I'm most proud of in this particular trade is my risk management. You guys saw it. As soon as we got that move. Okay, so what I did was right here. You can see, let me show you right here. Okay, so the blue is my entries. I will highlight them right here. These blue horizontal lines are when I went long. So I waited for the pump, the pullback, the recovery. I went long. Great. Didn't work at all, but I saw that it wasn't really breaking down, so I threw in another one to average my value out. On the first expansive move to the upside, I got out of one. That was most of my profit. And then basically I looked at the swing low. That was my stop. It hit it. I got out. To me, that this isn't big brain stuff. This is literally just textbook risk management, textbook size management, textbook risk control. That's all it was across the board. Like, okay, cool. I'm riding with the trend. I get out when it's reasonable. I might stop when it's reasonable. The stop's in the money. And that's how you quickly make whatever amount of money I just made. Easy peasy lemon squeezes. We don't need to overcomplicate it. I know right now you could watch videos or streams and there's motherfuckers drawn out like rectangles and they're like, but there's this gap, and then we got to also look at this, and Mercury's in retrograde, and the Golden Globes were last night, and this, that, the other thing. I think sometimes people like to, because they don't know what they're talking about and because they're not profitable traders, instead of what's that saying? Instead of dazzling them with brilliance, you have to baffle them with bullshit. So it's one of these things where like they're just like, oh, like you have to say so much and make it seem so complicated and be like, oh, here's a fucking fair value gap, but it's an inverted fair value gap. But then did you look at the 100 tick and oh my God, the 5,000 tick? And did you check the 10 minute? Because over there's a fucking Gorilla 4000 flying a fighter jet. Like they just make shit up. Where like, can't we just dumb it down to what is the trend? As in, do you have higher highs and higher lows, lower highs and lower lows? Are we trending up or down, or is there no trend at all? So what is the trend? Can you get in with reasonable risk? And when it moves X amount in your favor, like an ATR or a certain point value, you go your stop to break even. And if it keeps going, great, ride the trade. And if it doesn't, oh, okay, you're out for break even. Like I think sometimes the complication of trading itself is actually how non-complicated it is. It's, do you have a basic system and are you sticking to a basic system? You know? And like people just don't want to say that. Like they want to sell you some sort of fucking retarded course for thousands and thousands of dollars. And I'm not against courses. I've bought many courses in my life. I bought many books in my life. I've watched many premium videos in my life. And that's where there are things to learn, like the nuances of the math of like theta decay and gamma, and how does charm interact with Vanna, and when can we see a gamma squeeze, when can we see a Vanna rally, because those are all like mathematical things that can be taught, they can be understood, and they have a measurable impact on the market. Those are like actual forces of the market. Well, then there's other people who just like make up shit like, I am the algorithm that runs the market, you must listen to me. Like, what the fuck? They want to sound smarter than they are. You know what's so funny about those guys? Is as much as they'll preach to you of how amazing they are at trading and how their system's great, have you ever noticed that they never want to show you proof of payouts from prop firms? If they're trading their own account, they never want to show you broker statements. They always come up with excuses of like, no. Trust me, I'm profitable, but I just can't show it to you. And hey, did you guys actually know that last year I made $100 million trading? I bet you guys didn't know about that. I did though. And I'm saying it, so it's on the internet, so it must be real. But I can't show it to you. I can't show it to you. Like because of, like rules and stuff. I'm not allowed to prove it to you, but I did. And it's on the internet. So because it's on the internet, you have to believe me. And if you don't believe me, it's just because you're a hater. The fact that you don't believe me, it's a hater, but I did. I said it. 100 million. Did I say last year? I actually literally just meant in the month of December. Sorry, I misspoke. I'm catching myself fucking up now. No. Just the month of December, I made $100 million because I said I did. And that's apparently our line for the internet now of telling the truth or not telling the truth, is just people say they do. It's a lot. Yeah, no, it is. It must be real. Yeah, it is real. It is 100% real. You just need a source, Matt. I'm my own source. I said it. My source is the fact that I said it. Fundamental wins games, but dunking puts butts in but dunking. What? Are we talking about basketball now? Fundamentals wins games, but dunking puts butts in seats. Is that what you're trying to say? In the month of December, I was down 2K. It's because you simply didn't buy my $50,000 trading course that would have taught you the secrets of the algorithm. Matt opened a daycare. Yeah, actually, the way I made $100 million wasn't through trading equities. It was through trading real estate to open my own daycare facilities in Minnesota. Matt's Daycare. Matt's Child Rearing Inc. Matt's, yeah, that's just not how they spell it. It wasn't learning, it was leering. So it wouldn't be rearing, it would be reeing. Matt's Reeing Kids Inc. Like, that's how I made $100 million. I just opened as many daycare. I have officially filed to open a daycare, and I believe the fact that I have to babysit you guys all day is legally sound enough for me to run a daycare. I actually deeply believe that. I just signed thousands of, you guys didn't know this, but I now run a daycare for thousands of middle-aged men who are trying to trade right now. And to anyone who doesn't identify as a middle-aged man, I'm sorry, you're just not in the majority of my audience. And it's not that I dislike you or anything. I think you're awesome, but let's just be honest. Looking at my demographics, it's a bunch of middle-aged men. So yeah, I am the first proprietor of a daycare for middle-aged men. And I'm just, not only am I getting paid from the government, but did you guys know that your wives are paying me to just keep you guys out of their hair for 2 hours every morning? Did you guys know that? Every single month, I'm getting fat checks from your wives. So you are my mom. Hey. You could call me what you want. Guess you just can't call me poor. Boom. I think I honestly might just be done on the day. That's an easy way to start off Monday. I'm kind of like awkwardly waiting here. I'm waiting so bad for Apex. I'm hoping it can happen. I love when I get the approvals during stream. It's always so fun to share it with all of you folks. But right now, I did request another 30,000 from Apex. Another 30,000 from Apex. But it looks, their website's not even loading for me right now. But it is over here. Anyway, there we go. Log in. What's my password? Password 1? Or was this one password 2? I always forget what my password is on Apex. It's either password 1 or password 2. It's a tough one. Payouts, request payout. Here we go. So right here, January 9th, which was Friday, you can see all of mine are currently pending. Patent pending. So it's not all 20 accounts. It is only 15, but 15 times 2 is 30,000. So right there are 22,000. So that's where I'm getting the 30K from. But as you can see, pending. This is the 7th payout. And a lot of people are saying, hey, Matt, if it's your 7th payout, why aren't you going for all of it? It's because I didn't actually you have to have at least 5 payouts to be able to take all the money, and 2 of mine were denied. So the one that is pending right now is my 5th one that might actually get approved, because if you look at the FAQ, it's not just 7 payouts, or it's not just 5 payouts, it's 5 approved payouts. So even though I've done 7 payouts, I've only done 4 approved, 2 denied, and then right now 1 is pending. So just to clarify why I haven't taken a big payout, it's literally because I can't yet, because I've had 2 denied payouts. Love to be Matt's care each morning. So I'm hoping that this gets switched over to approved today, but I have no clue. All right, looking at the data, SPX is getting hit. Please be careful, because it does seem as if some profit taking is playing out right here. Actually, if you ask me, I think the perfect play is the dip to 950. That might align with the dip to VWAP. I actually think that could be a phenomenal play. A VWAP dip, a 950 dip, a bounce off of that, and then a play all the way back up to 966 and potentially 975. And then that would put us challenging the all-time high, which is currently 6978. Once again, that is the record high for the S&P 500. So, of course, it might just pop from here. I'm seeing some buyers come in. We could drill in. Just so you guys know, I don't trade on the 100 tick, but it is really fun to watch with you guys and stream just because we get a new bar every single 100 tick, so it just makes us feel some sort of way. But anyway, what's the overall trend? How do we play this off? So we popped, we pulled back about a 50% retracement. We're starting to show some life. Going long below 900, I get that because then you have the support of 900. So this little breakout here at 95, which was pretty evident, 94.50. Where's the 1 minute? Let's see. Right here. Yeah. Anywhere between 90 and 95 was a pretty good entry with a risk of 67. So if that's too much risk, you don't take the trade or you size down or you do something. But from a structural standpoint, we popped, we pulled back. We popped, we pulled back. We have higher highs, we have higher lows. That is strong bullish structure. Putting that together with momentum. Bullish, 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 bullish. Bullish, 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 bullish. Okay, so momentum is bullish. The one thing, oh, whoa. Who was this? Someone bought a fuckload of calls for this Friday on one of the Mag 7 names. Was it Apple? No. Microsoft? No. Meta? No. Nvidia? No. Palantir? No. Tesla got a huge option spike at 955.55. Someone is bullish on Tesla, folks. And the fact that it was the green and the orange line pops means that it expires this Friday. So this is a large, short-term bullish play, evidently bullish play on Tesla, hitting the tape right before the change of the hour. That's kind of crazy. That is crazy, man. Wow. Look at that pop. Yeah, so going back to the Mag 7 as a whole, this optimism is seemingly just Tesla, but overall, we are seeing an improvement ever since the first 16 minutes of the day. S&P 500 had a nice pop, switched right at that 10 a.m. reversal, but this might be the higher low right here that we are ideally patiently waiting for. But if you ask me, it all comes down to this of, are we going from red to green at 66? There was profit taking pretty early, right before the turn of the hour. The cloud was green. Now it's red. Now it's trying to make up its mind. We do have support at 50, which is where we found support earlier today. And side story that really doesn't impact the market or really even today's show, but I just wanted to share it with you in general. My nose hurts, and I don't know why. You guys ever just touch the bridge of your nose and there's like pain? Also, like my front teeth hurt for some reason. Like, do I just have like sinus pressures? Something's going on. That can't be good, right? That can't. What does that mean? Do we have any doctors in chat? Why does the bridge of my nose hurt? This is more important than the market. Is Matt's daycare opening early tomorrow for the CPI report? Asking for my wife. Yes. So all wives are allowed to drop off their husbands early tomorrow. We will be opening early tomorrow. Too much cocaine or maybe not enough cocaine. I could handle it one nostril at a time then to figure out the issue. Shared pain on the nerve could be the sign of a dental infection. Oh, shit. You're becoming a Fallout ghoul. Someone punched you while you were sleeping. I wouldn't be surprised. If you knew some of my wife's behavior, punching me while I was innocently sleeping. Is it tender next to your nose? No, it's like pretty much, it's like up here. It's like this bridge, this thing. Is it because I take too much of the anti-allergy nose spray? Is that like burning a hole in my nose? The Flonase? Can Flonase fuck up your nose? You know how on the back of the directions of Flonase it says to only do it for like 2 months out of the year? I didn't realize that until I was literally using it for like years straight. So that one honestly might be a little bit on me, but it's like, it's probably erectile dysfunction. Maybe. It could be. Inflammation of root of the tooth. That doesn't really hurt though. I don't know. Who knows? 'Tis my cross to bear. Oh, that's not a bad dip to be bought. I don't mind that at all, actually. Hang on. I'm bringing up the options flow on this other monitor. Mag 7 is holding. SPY is starting to pick up a little bit here. Where are we at on this? A potential reversal. Taking out some of these highs, maybe going to 66. I do have that alert set just in case. Just in case. So, I mean, I guess I could have held through that pain, but I don't know how advisable that really would have been. It's having a tough time flipping back over, folks. We're trying to make decisions. NQ is just basically pinned to 900. Maybe. What time is it? It's 10:21. Back to 9. All right. So you have some serious sellers around, not serious, but 916, 922, and you have some buyers at 89. Interessante. Which for my non-bilingual audience, that means interesting. I'm not sure if you would have picked that up through context clues. Not sure if you would have picked that up through context clues. That's 17. Interesting. It looks like it wants to make that test, folks. I suppose you could wait to see if it gets above 61 here, but looks like it wants to make that test. Where are we on book map? It's bad. So those guys are at 30. Those guys are at 30. A little bit of a smack there at 17. A lot. Dude, that is some size up there at 930 on NQ. Look at 494. Wow. Someone is trying to dump it there. Golly. 494 contracts. Wowzers. Starting to wake up a little bit. Mag 7's looking good. Shit, 409. Like, what are they doing? What are they seeing? What are they liking? The Qs not far away from making their own red to green move. The Qs closed at 626.65. 626.65. A little bit of a smack there. So that this wall, even though it's not the deepest red color we've ever seen, as in representing a lot of liquidity, it's holding tough. We went up to it, smacked, went up to it, smacked, up to it, smacked. So kind of watching this 9, 15, 16, 17 area. And then from there, the evident area would be 30. I mean, 494 contracts. Holy shit. Oh, the question is, do I want to play this on the small accounts?
Order filled. Order submitted.
We are. We're going to play this on the small accounts.
Order filled.
Bada bing, bada boom. Like I said, played it on the small accounts, locked in another $200 right here. Here is the trade. In on the breakout, I targeted 29. Why did I target 29? Because I saw a shitload of sellers there. Maybe it gets rejected. I don't care. I want the money. Maybe it keeps going. Whatever. I'm happy with the money. So I was able to get in at 19, sold at 29, another 10 points, another $200. Like I said, I just executed that on the smaller accounts right there, just giving me a little bit more breathing room. I was in, I mean, you guys heard the order filled. I was in that for, how long did that trade take? I got in at 10:24:03. And I was out at 10:24:14, so that was an 11-second trade. So 11 seconds, $200, 5 accounts, $1,000. To make $1,000 in 11 seconds, I'm gonna take it. Why not? Easy peasy, lemon squeezies. That's, yeah. And then right here, I mean, why are a lot of people selling here? Why did we see this? They were probably targeting this closing value just in case there's a rejection there. They also might not be going short. They literally might have gone long at the start of the day targeting that, and they're just looking to get out with a shitload of profit. So I can't blame that trade. They got a decent amount of a fill, and now resistance has moved up a little bit to 38. I get it. I mean, if you're bullish and you want that breakout rip, I understand how it's a bit of a bummer, but I totally understand why there were so many there. I'm still waiting for the S&P 500 to do a similar thing. I'm looking for SPX to hit 66. I'm looking for SPY to hit 94 and a little bit of change. But right now, the Qs are officially attempting to go green on the day. They're battling it out. AMD is looking good. NVIDIA is doing nothing. Meta's doing nothing. Apple's recovering a tiny bit. Tesla, decent day. Google, is that a new all-time high? It is. Congrats if you are long on Google. That just ripped to a new all-time high. That was Google. What else are we looking at? Microsoft. Pop giving a little bit back. Amazon Pop going flat, looking up though. Palantir flat. Avago flat. AMD grinding up. ASML grinding up. Walmart gapped up, giving a tiny bit back, but really just going flat. Netflix is slightly green. Hood's up 2%. MSTR is actually green. CoreWeave is up a shitload. Why is CoreWeave up a shitload? Where was CoreWeave? Right here. CoreWeave actually trying to switch trends. We went from bullish to bearish to bullish to bearish. Not only is it trying to flip trends, but you can look for that technical breakout above 91.50. CRWV. I currently have no position, but it might be switching trends there. Open, dog shit company, dog shit leadership team. It's just a pump and dump, like kind of fake out. Qubits doing nothing. BITX doing nothing. IONQ, nothing. Irene, also bullish to bearish to trying to flip over, kind of looking like a couple days removed from CoreWeave there. Rigetti doing nothing. Oklo, same thing, bullish to bearish to potential reversal. Texas Roadhouse getting that nice technical breakout and follow through. Ripple trying to go from bearish to bullish. Solana trying to go from bearish to bullish. Ethereum, the same thing. Bonds are taking a small hit. Oil actually trying to go bullish itself. Gold ripping to another new all-time high, just keeps pumping. Silver, same thing. Gold and silver are just moving like no other. Let's check those out. Gold, and then we'll put up silver. Yeah, these things are monsters. Absolute monsters. Once Apex approves the next payout, are you planning to request it all or continue? That is a phenomenal question, and I do not have the answer. So I guess I would love your thoughts. So for any of you who are kind of familiar with Apex, after 5 payouts, approved payouts, you can take all of the money left over in your account. So you're no longer maxed at 2K. So basically, if my accounts get approved for 2K, the payout that is currently pending, I did request on Friday, all my top 15 accounts from 86 all the way up to 88, they'll all drop by 2K because of the 2K like payout approval. Then from there, I have the option in another 8 trading days, which today is number 1 of. So in 7 trading days from now, as long as I trade all 7 days, 4 more of them are green, and I don't blow out the account. So there are a couple rules here and there that I need to follow. I'll be able to request the money. And I would say okay, so my question to you is, what do you guys think I should do? And I know the knee-jerk reaction is, dude, take the money. But it's a little bit more complicated than that, because remember, the most difficult part, in my humble opinion, about this is what I'm currently battling out in these lower 5 accounts right here. The most difficult part is growing the buffer. Once you have buffer, life becomes way easier. Instead of being in that world of, dude, if it goes against me 2K, I'm like screwed. And if it goes against me 1K and it's eating into my unrealized, there just becomes all these other complications where it becomes difficult. Like there's not only good trading, but there has to be an aspect of luck that variance just can't bite you. Well, if you have a bigger buffer, well, all of a sudden, okay, variance can happen. But if you have a strong trading system, you're still good to go. And obviously, that is something like on my mind of just like, okay, like, do I necessarily, or is the answer somewhere in the middle? Should I take out most of the money, but maybe bring them all down to 60K so then they all have 10K worth of buffer? Something just happened there. What was that? So that's another thing. So like, remember, you don't have to go all in, all out. Like many things in this world, like you could kind of meet yourself 50-50. Like I could take most of the money and leave it. I could take all of the money. I could take just another 2K and continue to grow it. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about it. I talked to my wife about it, and then I realized that she doesn't really understand the whole sim to funded world, so she doesn't really get the rules and the nuances. So she's like, I don't know. I hope you make the right decision for us. It's a tough one. I don't know. I'm like I'm happy that you asked. And I know most people would just take all the money, but I'm trying to think about other things. And then you could get like really into it. You could think about the tax implications of this paycheck as a contractor. And then even if you take the money and start trading yourself, that's a different taxable thing. Then there's other weird things. At a certain point, if you take out too much money from Apex, you do get banned. So if I take out this money, maybe I can keep trading. That's awesome. Maybe if it's another 100K, maybe that's the line in the sand that for my account, they banned me. So that's another thing to consider is like, what's the max amount of money I could take from Apex where they won't ban me? That's another thing that's like on my mind. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Do you guys have any thoughts or opinions, especially for those of you who are like maybe like a bit familiar with the rules and kind of know what I'm talking about? Like, truly, I'm not asking this rhetorically. Like I've been thinking about this like for a week now, like really thinking about it. Like I'm talking to the point of writing out the pros and the cons, talking to a tax person, like trying to figure it all out. And it's not the most evident answer. If you get banned from Apex but receive 100K, good riddance. Yeah, but what if being on the platform you can make even more money? Well, like what if the answer is you could take out 90K, they don't ban you, and then they allow you to keep trading and you could take out another 90K. 60K buffer, take the rest. So you're saying leave 10K worth of buffer, like basically take out the money, the accounts all the way down to 60. So you have 10K worth of buffer, but yet you got most of the payday. That's reasonable. Why would they ban you when you talk about them every day? Same thing with a casino. Like just if you take too much from a casino, they don't let you trade at the casino anymore. They don't let you gamble at the casino anymore. Apex is really no difference. It's still a private company. They don't have to serve business. The way casinos don't have to offer their services to everyone, neither do prop firms. Obviously, they make money by people blowing out. If you're too good at trading, they'll pay you out your final payout, and then they'll say, bye, we're not offering you accounts anymore. Why trade on a platform that can ban you from withdrawing money that you earned? Well, you still keep that money. They just don't let you trade there anymore. They give you all your money, and they say, hey, congrats, bye. But that's true with any sim to funded firm. Any sim to funded firm, one of two things are going to happen. Either you're going to do so well. Well, here's what happens is you do so well that they come to you and they're either going to ban you or offer you to go to live trading. And most traders end up, if they're going live, they're like, well, I'll just trade live in my own account. So they basically end up just getting banned. But that's pretty much the end of the road for any sim to funded firm. That's so dumb. Why trade on them? It's not dumb. It's called business. That's how it works. If you were running a casino and someone was continually counting cards, would you still allow them? And so, or maybe you're just like, but the same thing happens with sports betting. If you're on DraftKings or FanDuel, if you are making sports bets with too much of an edge, it's actually really, really easy to get banned from any of those services. This is no different. So I guess like if you think it's dumb, hey, that's like your opinion, your prerogative. No one is forcing you to use this stuff, but this is like par for course for this type of the world. You see it in the world of casinos. You see it in the world of all of the most like FanDuel, DraftKings, Prize Picks. They all like literally. This is just how this industry goes. Of when it's your quote unquote skill against someone else, and it's for their money, that company's money. They don't have to offer business to everyone. They can stop services to whoever they want. That's just called business in America. Don't eat the full amount. They make money from you making money. You take everything, both of you lose. Don't take the full amount. They make money from you making money. There are programs that shut your account down if you go on tilt, so you won't blow out and keep growing these accounts. Yeah, you could do it, but you could also do it in your own funded account, technically. But there is a different tax scheme to the world. Because when you get paid from these guys, you're paid as a contractor. It's not paid as capital gains. And then obviously if you're trading your own account, the same payout would be taxed as capital gains, at least to my understanding. Potential reversal right here. Matt, if it ain't broke, don't change it. Yeah, but to be completely honest and transparent with all of you guys, you're talking to the person who in March of last year, look, 10 months ago, I had the opportunity to be net up $1 million on Apex, and I fumbled it because one day I got way too tilted and I spiraled and I fucking lost it all. And it is, I don't know what the word would be. What would the word be? Some word like when people say gutted or like disgusted, or I don't think there's like a word for it, where last March, I basically had to explain to you guys how I basically, if I was just stayed chill for about a week, I would have gotten another $800,000, almost $1 million, $800K. I already had $240K in payout, so basically $1 million, but the $240K was secured. That was in my bank account. So really, I lost that on $800K. So there is a word that is more extreme than gutted. Despondent. Well, you become despondent. You almost become like comatose, because I know I have to tell you guys. I know I have to tell my wife, and then I also have to like just live with that myself. And I pray that you guys never have to go through that, because it is nothing but mental torment. I pray that you guys get into that situation, handle it better than I did, and then successfully get the $800K or whatever the big payout is for you. But like I said, I'm about 10 months removed from having the opportunity to get $800,000. I could have bought a fucking house, a car. I could have invested. I could have paid for my future's kids' college. And in one day of bad tilt, of bad spiral, I lost it all. And I had to tell you guys, I had to tell my wife, and I had to live with that myself, which then was the second time in my trading career that I fumbled $1 million opportunity. For those of you who were back here in 21, the same thing happened with AMC and GameStop. I had the opportunity, if I got out when I probably thought I should have, but because of drinking the fucking Kool-Aid of the cult, I didn't get out. And once again, that was another $1 million payday. So really, ever since, I mean, I've been trading for over a decade, but in my content career, there's been two very public situations where I had $1 million in my hand and I just let it disappear. And as you could imagine, but like, I guess just to reinforce that thought, as a person who did that, it's beyond mental torment. It's beyond purgatory. It really does fuck you up. Like, it just, I suppose despondent is the best word. Just like, you just feel like such an incredible sense of numbness to everything. Like, it's fucking brutal. Like, it's fucking bad. Your mind frame and risk management is not the guy much. I hope so. Like, I've really been attacking this one way differently, and that's why I've been trying to be more on the ball of documenting this process every single week. And I do believe that it helps a lot of you, but I think it also helps me, where like every day, I know sometimes I sound like a broken record, but like it's really as a reminder to myself to not be that guy. I want to be the guy who's just, nope, risk. It's okay to have wins. It's okay to have losses. Of course, we're going for wins. But as long as you just don't take that catastrophic loss, all will be okay. I trust in the system. I've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours not only developing systems, but specifically Icarus. I have the data. I test it. I reevaluate it every single week. The data holds up. Like, I have faith in the math of the system because I have all the data. I've applied it. I know what's going on. The one thing that is stopping like me from making $1 million this time, it's not the system. It's not the market. It's not price action. It's literally just the discipline to keep to my sizing, and really, to put that another way, it's to keep to my risk management. That, like, exclusively the one hurdle in between me and let's say becoming like getting $1 million payout and in like February, in the next 6 weeks, like that one hurdle, even in that time frame, it's exclusively me. Like 100%. I can't blame it on shit tech. I can't blame it on shitty price action. I can't blame it on a system that I don't understand. Like, no. Like, it's fully in my control. And it's just me of just, do I follow the system? Specifically the risk side. Not even the entry and the exit. It's more, do I follow the risk management that I know I should be following? If I follow that, great. I get $1 million. If I don't, then it'll be the third time in my public trading career, and actually the third time in general. I don't even know why I specified it that way, but it would be the third time in my trading career that I fuck up getting $1 million, which I don't even know if I want to put that out into the universe. I think if that happened again, your boy would have to take a little bit of a break. Like, your boy would have to take a little bit of a fucking break. But we'll see. There's still time. Like, inherently, the question isn't now. I can't do anything at this point. Like I said, the decision it'll come sometime in February, basically. It kind of starts mid next week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So basically, you guys can come to me on this conversation. It becomes reality of like what to do and what not to do Friday of next week, the 23rd. So January 23rd is the first time I can do something that is abnormal to taking out the 2K per account every 8 trading days. So it is next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday. The 23rd is the first time where it becomes like a real question. Then what? Well, then it's, what the fuck do I want to do? Do I take all the money? Do I take some of the money? Do I take none of the money? Do I take a normal payout? Like, that's when it becomes a real thing. Right now, it's pretty much all hypothetical. But anyway, in the meantime, if you guys want to do this yourself, I think I'm very jealous of people who are starting to trade now, because there's no such thing as SIM-to-funded prop trading. When I started to learn, I had to go from paper trading to betting my own money. Overall, this is, in my mind, a perfect in-between where you have some money on the line, but not so much. But also, if you trade well, there is also some upside. So I like to think of SIM-to-funded trading as that perfect in-between from paper trading to your own fully funded account. And like I said, you could take the eval today for 80% off with that code Goonie. I trade 20 of them right here. Here's all 20 of my Apex accounts. And actually, where's my FFN accounts? Did I not log into these today? Hello? 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 Oh, there we go. Hello, hello, hello.
Order filled. Order submitted.
Oh, brother. This feels like it's a pretty fucking easy VWAP play. Feels like it's a pretty easy VWAP play, especially if this breaks down. VWAP is currently at 812. 75, 25.
Order submitted.
This trade that I'm doing, as I've pitched to you all day, I've been trying to be mindful of the concept of a retest of VWAP, then a bounce. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. I'm just trading it on my two FFN evals right here, and I'm short at 75.25. I'm just going for 50 points, which would be $1,000. J Trades becoming a bot fighter. Shout out, dude. And then obviously my risk is this recent high, where if we take that out, I would actually probably switch the other way and go long. But I'm just looking at some of the current trend. Yeah. What's that pop there? That's to 95. Yeah, this isn't. If it takes, I'm looking at this low right here that we had at 1007. If it takes out 67, I just think that, like, I'm not going to switch full on bearish, but I just think there's a high chance of reevaluating VWAP, the volume weighted average price, which is at 811.50. And I'm just going for a pure 50 points short at 75, trying to collect that 25. So going for a 50-point trade right there. Nothing too special about it. That's not an Icarus trade or anything. That's just honestly a VWAP retest trade that we've seen so many fucking times that it's almost like nauseating the amount of money that I haven't made trading it, because it just seems to happen so often. But with that, it's still like any price action in the market. It's not a guarantee. So I'll just keep updating my risk to whatever the recent high is. And I might move it down to 95. Yep. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. I'm just going to keep following this trend, lower highs and lower lows. But the fact that it took out 67, not so good. And then obviously it becomes pretty evident if we take out 34, this low at 945. And then once again, VWAP is right there. Just because this might happen, I want to clarify, on an intraday basis, that would not make me bearish. That's just the VWAP. And if anything, if we bounce off of VWAP, I'd be that much more confident in a bullish recovery on the day. But it's just when you sit here and you watch this stuff so much, and you start to see that same pattern over and over of the pop, the pullback, the higher low, and the bounce. Well, where's that higher low commonly formed? Well, we see it quite often right at VWAP. And like I said, do I think that's going to happen today? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. It's just from a risk reward perspective. I'm in at 75. I could risk 95. That's 20 points. And I'm going for 50 points. So I have a 2.5 reward to risk. So this trade only has to work for me about 30 to 35% of the time to be net ahead. So I don't even have to be right that often for this particular trade to pay. And I think that's where a lot of retail traders kind of lose the scope of this game, is they think they need to be right on every trade. It's like, no, you just need your system to be right in net. You don't need it to be right on every single one. And
Order
I just
filled.
got tagged out.
Order canceled.
All right. And it might just be this high or low. And like I said, actually, if this holds and we have another, like, it might be reversing trend now. As much as it could reverse trend at VWAP, it might be reversing it at this. People are just targeting that low. That's completely acceptable. And what I'm going to do here is actually, if we see continued strength, I'll actually throw a long on. But once again, at this point, I'm only trading these two right here, just two evals. I think the max money I could get on these is 1.2 because they have a 40% consistency. Sometimes I confuse all the trades. But let's see. Or is this just another lower high? Technically, we bounced to 96. It did not take out 904. Or is it going to be one of those unlucky situations where it wicks me out? Hang on. Data series. So I was short at 75. It just wicked me out at 95. Was it just enough to wick me out and it's still bearish? We'll see how it plays. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Does get interesting above 90. We'll see. We'll see. Nvidia's pulling it lower. What's going on with Nvidia? Gold and silver taking a little bit of a hit right now, but not much. Overall, they're up. They hit brand new highs, obviously showing quite a bit of strength. What time is it? It's 10:49. Things in price action already slowing down a little bit. All right.
Order
That's
filled.
a long signal for me. Same accounts, same trade, literally just the opposite direction. Let me throw in my risk.
Order
All
submitted.
right, put in my risk. Long at 94. At this point, what can we even target? Basically, my risk is down there. We're seeing if this is recovery. First breakout is at 911, 913, something like that. Maybe 923. Let's see. Where are some traders set up? Looks like 900 and then 910 is a little bit of resistance. Not much. We've definitely seen more. But it looks like there is support here at 77. It looks like a little bit of buyers coming in at 77. But clearly bullish, slight pullback, kind of just watching this structure here to see if it was a switch. So that's why I got out, just in case it is actually that recovery. I didn't want to be in the recovery. But we're kind of dancing around. It seems like the market doesn't quite know. We're basically just getting pegged to these EMAs where we almost broke out but got smacked, but we're not quite breaking down yet. What is that? That's 64. We'll see. Yeah, this is the decision point. I would say it's pretty apparently bullish above 911 and pretty apparently bearish in the short term. We're talking about like the 1 minute chart below 864. So you're kind of waiting for below 864 or above 911. These are the bounds I'm looking for. Obviously, I'm watching a little bit of this trend that it's struggling at, but really it's just right at these EMAs. And that's what this is on the screen. This colorized cloud from green to red. It's just colorized EMAs. It's like 5 different EMAs put together to give you an idea of, are we all trending up? Is it choppy? Is it bearish? So we were trending up, got hit, went choppy, and that's literally where we're just currently at. So it gives a slightly different, I don't know. For me, it's just very easy rather than mapping out these highs and the lows. That's what these green and the red carrots are. It just gives a quick visual guide of, oh, bullish, oh, choppy, like that type of a thing. If you look over here, 5 minute bullish, 10 minute bullish, 30 minute, it was bearish, went bullish, 4 hours, still bullish, 5 minute bullish, 10 minute bullish, 30 minute bullish, 4 hour, okay, still evidently bullish. So it just gives a really quick visual guide. SPX, similar situation. If I anchored it to market open, this would have quickly gone bullish. And right now it's just choppy sideways. Look at all these EMAs. We're just not trending. I'm looking for that break to the upside to test that red to green move at 966. But hey, your guess is as good as mine. A lot of nothingness at the moment. A lot of nothingness at the moment. Could get interesting if QQQ takes out 62615. Or if SPY takes out 693.61. Gold and silver looking really good. Gold's up 3%. Silver's up almost 8%. Texas Roadhouse is having a good day, up 1.6%. Irene is up 6.6%. CoreWeave's up 10%. Oracle Rum's down a little bit there. Walmart is up. AMD's up. Amazon's flat. Microsoft's flat. Google did hit an all-time high. Most likely have some profit taking right now. Apple just cannot find its footing. I'm actually a little bit surprised Tesla's not up more from that crazy amount of call buying we saw. I suppose that is a good bounce. 438 to almost 450. So almost $12 there. Interesting. Interesting. Meta's down 1%. Nvidia's down 0.4%. CoreWeave. A lot of things just popped and are now holding. SPY got a little bit of a technical breakout, double bottom there, taking out some of these recent highs. Looking for a similar situation on the NASDAQ. Looking for it to go up another 20-ish cents. But at a certain point, I'll just move my stop to break even. At a certain point. All right, AMD, ASML. ASML's looking good. Speaking of long-term investing, that's one that I had like in my own long-term investment account, I added heavily. Silver moving like a damn penny stock. It's wild times. It definitely is. And it's kind of been like that ever since, late December. Okay. Do I want to go 1 to stop? Yeah. What's that high? The high is 33. So we'll dump 1 at 30.
Order submitted.
Easy peasy lemon squeezies, folks. Let's not overcomplicate this. Let's not overcomplicate this. Calm, cool, collected. What is the trend? Can you take advantage of the trend with minimal risk? If you ask yourself that, it can't get that bad. It just simply can't get that bad. Where was NQ? Right here. We still haven't hit. Okay, that is a good target. The overnight trading session high, 960. Currently trading at 906, which means there's about 50 plus points to target that level. And then 996 is the high from Friday. So kind of watching 960, kind of watching 996 if we can hold on the bullish positive side of this. But I like that little wick higher. Let's see if it can continue. At a certain point, I'm just going to let this run and see if I can just get my stops to break even. Come on. We're getting kind of up there. I do have a stop at break even, but as you can see, I am long 2 contracts. And the other one, I don't know. I'm either going to put it at 78 or 63. We'll see, but it would make my life easier if this just really quickly pops up to 30. Make my life way, way easier. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Hopefully 900 can hold as support right here. I do like the fact that my long position is in below that key level, and we're trading on the north side of it because hopefully, I was going to say hopefully there's a big node of buyers, but they're about 12 points below, which actually that's a good learning opportunity. Remember, big money. Yeah, sometimes they'll target these very evident key levels such as 900, 950, 26,000. But other times it's worthwhile to bring up Bookmap and be like, oh, they're not at 900. They're actually down at 88. So it just kind of maybe gives you an idea of maybe where you want to put in your buy and sell orders. Like, for example, to the top side, they're not targeting the high right now, which is 33. They're actually in here at 24. So sometimes they are at those perfect levels, and other times you can literally just see from those pending orders that they might be off by just a little bit. So kind of worthwhile to bring up. If every moment in time is a coin flip, why don't collect the partial gains of the initial 6-moment burst than 700 you have right now? Because you don't know where it's going. Because it's a coin flip, what if it just keeps going? Like, what I did was on that initial burst, I put my stop to break even, so I have no risk. Boom. Done. Worst case situation, out for break even. Best case scenario is it trends all the way up, and this is like a continuation of the trend that we saw this morning. It's because you don't know what's going on, you want to make it as asymmetric in your favor as possible. And the most asymmetric situation is your worst case scenario being nothing. My worst case scenario right now is break even. And in fact, you can improve it by making your worst case scenario some profit And that would be more of like a trailing-esque type of situation. So it's because of exactly how you're asking it. Because you don't know what's going on, cool. Like, you're kind of focusing on, oh, we don't know what's going on, so just take it. But what if what you don't know is going on is all your profit, and thus it's massively asymmetric in your favor? So right now, this is by definition asymmetric. I'm risking nothing, going for money. Worst case situation, break even. And yes, I do want to be honest, you can improve it. I could move it up to like, I don't know, 95 or something. But I guess you don't have to. Like if it moves a little bit more, I might target it. I don't necessarily love moving my stop to 901 when 900 is obviously a psychological level. So I might be doing something like 98, 97, some shit like that. But still, that's a small gain. Probably gets me out of this hole. But yeah, you're right to say you don't know. But just because you don't know, that doesn't mean as soon as you see green, you should be taking it. Because for all you know, okay, like it was up 700. What if this just keeps trending and later today it's up 7,000? That one trade that you gave it room to breathe could be paying off like 30 of your losers. Or it could come down to break even. Like, yeah, I mean, none of us are clairvoyant. Like you don't know what it's going to be. And of course you wish you could play it perfectly. But for as many times, well, not as many times, because I would say actually statistically, 2 out of 3 times I do get stopped out for break even. So it's not 50-50. But the reason you trade that way, or at least the reason I trade that way, is because that 1 in 3, that it's the big trend. It's such a big trend that rather than taking my scalp profits in the other examples, I'm farther net ahead by getting stopped out on the 2 and letting the runners run. So it has to do with looking at the total expected value of the system rather than that one individual trade. One individual trade is not the end all be all. If you say you make or lose money on a trade, that doesn't tell you anything about the long-term success or failure of that particular trading system, framework, whatever. You have to look at it in aggregate. So you're trading the 100 ticks? No, I just have the 100 ticks up on the chart because it's more exciting to watch. I don't use this short of time frames for any of my signals. It's just, it's too short. It's too signal. Or excuse me, it's too short of a time frame for any viable signals. So, but also be like, that's a really weird assumption. I think maybe sometimes, maybe, I don't know, certain types of autism is like the best for trading, because right there, Tom, you just made an assumption because you saw something on the chart. You're like, that's what he's trading. No, like, that's a really weird mental jump to make just because you saw it. That at no point was it clear that I was trading on this chart. In fact, I've said it multiple times. I don't trade on the 100 tick chart. It's more of an aspect of the stream just because it updates really rapidly. So it's like more fun to watch. Will you be streaming the 10-year bond auction at 1 p.m.? No, they're kind of impactful, but they're not like exciting events like the FOMC or that type of stuff. But anyway, right now, this trade in terms of what I'm using for it, I'm more so watching Bookmap. I'm just looking at, like, we called out there were buyers at 88. We see some sellers. There were at 916. I'm seeing these people at 30, at 32. And guess what? My order's there at 30. I just have this up for the fun of the stream. But if anything, I'm not even really trading on timeframes right now. This particular trade, I'm literally just looking at where the positioning is. Like right here, we can see a little support at 12. There were sellers at 26. They dumped them. We see the players increasing their position at 30 and 32. So in a certain sense, it's almost time frame agnostic. I'm just looking at where the current pending sell orders are and where the current pending buy orders are. Join the cool kids watching Matt in Discord VC. Yeah, folks, if you are in the Goonie Trading Discord, hop into VC. Not only do you just have to hear my voice, but you can work on some of these trades and these call outs with some of the other people in there for sure. Shout out Boston Symphony. And also congrats on winning fantasy again. Hang on. There was one question I wanted to answer, but I'm now missing it. Is code Goonie expired? Expired for what? It shouldn't be on Apex. and it shouldn't be on any of the prop firms. I don't think it's going to be expired on SpotGamma. I don't think it's going to be expired on Bookmap. I guess where? Because I kind of use the code Goonie for everything. Dude, a lot of buyers now stepping in, or excuse me, sellers. I fucked that up. Sellers at 24, 23, and they're stepping in now. They're stepping in now. What are these guys doing? They're protecting this recent high that we just made. Look at that. A chunk of them. These guys. For the Discord, it should still be up. I'll get back to you that. Remind me tomorrow, but maybe the change of the year messed it up, because I think someone said that last week too. So the fact that 2 people are now saying something about it being expired, feel free to DM me and I'll help you personally. DM me on Twitter, Matt_Kohrs, and we'll take care of that. We'll take care of that. Does the yearly sub to the Discord renew automatically? Yes. So obviously, if for some reason you want to cancel, you can cancel it now and it'll still run out to the end of the subscription. And same thing with monthly. Let's say you're like, oh, I want it for a month. Well, you could get in, you could cancel it, but then you'll still have till the end of that time frame, if that makes sense. Yeah, I never knew that, but at 700, 900, we know you already have very asymmetric. Statistically, your MAE might be very low, but your MFE is maybe also. That's fine. And like, once again, mathematically, that matters if you don't have much buffer, and I would be taking the trade differently if I didn't have as much buffer. Like, I think that is a mathematical equation that you still have to consider the amount of buffer in your MAE and your MFE. So it's not living in a vacuum itself. It's against relative other numbers. All right. So there's people at 2250, at 24, and at 30. And I'm partying with the people up here at 30. Or I'm at least attempting to. At least attempting to. 23, 25. We're going to see. I do like that. Here's the Mag 7. It popped, it pulled back, kind of going flat right now. The S&P, the S&P 500 is finally making a move. Okay. So we ripped up from that red to green test, got rejected for the second time. Cup, handle. Here's the third test. I don't know who's going to win, but I can tell you if the Bulls win, watch 6975. It's within spitting distance of the all-time high, but it also happens to be a key level here. That's when we start to go from negative to positive gamma. So watch that. And then obviously on that move, if SPX can finally go from red to green and actually get this move, watch 78. Clearly people react to the all-time high, but it should be nice for the NASDAQ to maybe make this move up to 960, and I'm really watching 26,000 flat from there. So if it does get smacked here, if the market turns right here, it would be a perfect shoulder, head, shoulder. So that's just another thing to be mindful of. I wouldn't be too worried about that unless we start to crack the 50 EMA, and then from there I'd be targeting the VWAP level. So we don't need to overcomplicate it. Have your bull case, have your bear case, play whichever one you think is best represented by the current price action. Is the stream also in Discord? Notice a delay here. No, the stream is a public stream. It's on Rumble and it's on YouTube. But on Discord, there's people in there. There's like a live voice chat. There's a live text chat. So there's other traders in there doing that stuff. But they're really, I mean, it's the stream delay is just due to how like multi-streaming works, or not even multi-streaming, streaming in general. Things such as YouTube, they put in like a 10-second delay or something like that. That's just like a aspect, I suppose, of the software. Oh, brother, we're waiting for this to go. Come on. attempting to patiently wait. Yeah, so the SPY is battling it out at that red to green. The Qs are battling it out at the red to green. We're just waiting. We're just waiting. Patience, but I think it happens, but that's also just a guess. Obviously, you still have to be cognizant of your risk management because you never know when random things are just gonna get announced. You never ever know. Finally, go. We hit almost 28. We hit 27.75. Come on, baby. Let's take these guys out at 30. I'm not even being greedy as the person at like 32, 33. I just want to scale down. Come on. You can do it, Tonto. You could do it, Tonto. We're really zoomed in here. You guys had an issue with the 100-tick chart. We're seeing every trade hit the market right now. Come on. Pop her up. Let's hear that beautiful order filled. Come on. You could do it. It's just right there. It's just right there. How much more zoomed in can we get? I think I'm going to lose my fucking mind watching this. I feel like this could cause a seizure. Is that the most zoomed in they let you get? I feel like we're entering the Matrix now.
Order filled.
There we go. All right. We locked one of those bad mamma jammas in no matter what. Guaranteed to make 300. And then I'm going to be dumping this other one at 40.
Order submitted.
All right, that's my reach target for the runner contract just because I can only make 1,200. We're going to do 39. Come on. Dude, is this what taking drugs feels like? You're like, hey, it just makes sense to me, guys. I think this might make me vomit. This is kind of hard to watch, honestly. Anyway, folks, that's pretty much it. You see what's going on. I have my profit target at 39, my stop at break even. I've already locked in 330 on each account. So worst case scenario is I make money. It's just a question of how much. The reason I'm targeting here is I don't see anything special at 40. It's just where my accounts will roughly be at 1,200. And right now on the evals, there is a 40% consistency rule on FFN. So with a 3K target, 1,200 is the max you can make per day. So literally there's no advantage in me making more than that money today. Obviously, I'll keep moving this stop up to like recent swing lows. Like, I don't know if I wanted to, I can move it up to, I don't know, something like that. Maybe I'll put it at 9. I don't know. Or it can make my life easier and we could just hit it right now. Piper just fired. Piper, where are you? What is today? The 12th. Oh brother, 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 oh mother, oh mother, oh mother, oh brother, oh mother, oh brother. All right, if you are in the Discord, Piper finally on that pop had enough momentum to get going on the day. I myself haven't taken a trade yet. I guess I could look at it while we're still here, while we're still bebopping around. Let's see. It depends on the drug, I guess. You know, you're not wrong. You know what? It might be easier if I switch the screen over here and do it right here. Oh, fuck. I'm throwing in an order. The market might be too gone today. It might be a little bit too gone. My order's in there. It's pending if you're in the Discord. But here, let's see if this one hits. Not too far away. If I can't get on Piper, whatever, boo-hoo. But it would be nice to lock this in. We're almost there. You can do it. You can do it.
Order filled.
Boom.
Order
boom,
canceled.
Boom. All right. 1,500 on my big 15 accounts. 405 to 450 on my smaller accounts. And 1.2K on my fresh evals as of today. Is there any other streamer who shows it all live this transparently? Like, honestly, is there any other person who's like, hey, I'm going to get in here, I get in there, and then show you it, like, the entire trade? Like, is anyone else, like, actually being, who else has this kind of mixture of actual, like, continuous success and transparency? I think everyone else is so full of shit. They're showing you screenshots. There's one other fucking, I don't know, creepy streamer. You guys know who I'm talking about. He just has like a weird, like creepy vibe. He's always showing you screenshots. Yeah, because that's completely real. Then there's other people who show you their accounts, but they're always blowing out accounts every other day. Then there's other people who are really good at trading, but they're not really showing you their entries and their exits. They're talking about it in like a general sense. I don't think that there's another one at this level. I just don't know. I just don't know if it's there. You didn't stream the $1 million blow up. I streamed the first half of it, and then I had to make an update video that day. But the blow up didn't happen in the morning. That's why it happened in the afternoon. Bunch of fakes. I mean, it's just an industry full of fakes, unfortunately. But folks, that's it for me. I've made my money. I don't think I'm going to get my premium sell, but hey, sometimes that happens. So I think I'm kind of, I think I might be done for the day. We might call it an early Monday. We might be calling it an early Monday. I mean, it's just like, what else is there to do? You know, what else in the world is there to do? Like, we've kind of locked it all in. So, folks, it seems like some of you are having issues with the Discord. If you are, reach out to me. I'll personally help you. You can DM me on Twitter, Matt_Kohrs, or you can DM me on Discord, MMK147, or email me, media@MatthewKohrs.com. I will more than happy help any of you personally. So just like I said, I'm reachable, whatever. Reach out to me in the best way you find fit. That's it for now. We'll be posting an update video later on today, right after the market closes, and then we're going to be streaming tomorrow early for the CPI report. I do want to remind you that we have CPI tomorrow, PPI, and retail sales on Wednesday. Wednesday is also VIX expiration. Thursday, we have initial jobless claims and the Philadelphia Fed manufacturing. Oh, sorry. Wednesday, we're also supposed to hear from the Supreme Court. So Wednesday and Friday of this week, and Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday we have inflation. Wednesday's more inflation and retail sales and VIX expiration and the Supreme Court decision with Trump. Then fast forward to Friday, it's OPEX. So it's pretty busy. Like starting today, pretty much all week, it's going to be a busy week. And don't you worry about getting burned out, because next week the market is closed on Monday in observation of MLK Jr. Day, which I just found out from my producer over the weekend. So just wanted to let you guys know about that as well, that Monday we basically all have off. So don't forget about that. That's what I have for you. I appreciate all the good vibes. I'll catch you guys later on today. Peace.